here, and you'll have to turn them on manually. So if they're red, it's telling you that the door's open or the timer's on. So we can override that, and you can go through and change it. Okay? So we've got all the domes on high now. The other thing that's kind of neat here is you have lights on the side. So first push is white, second push is red. So if it was a, can you grab that door up there? Sure. So if it was like, you know, dark, quiet, whatever, you can do that. And then the cabinet lights kind of give you a little bit of a lighter night, whatever you want to do. Independent both sides, so you can have one side on, one off, whatever. Questions about any of that? Okay. Exterior lights are your scene lights on the outside. So probably not used a whole lot on like scene call or something. But let's say you were on the side of the road or at an airport and it was dark right outside the truck. You can actually turn these on from the inside of the truck back here. They also activate with the doors and the curbside door. So when the back door opens, then the lights turn on back. And there's also a switch in the door right here. When you push that switch, it turns on all the lights on the outside. So just white lights, and it also does ground lights. So you can see if you're gonna step on something before you hop out. Ventilation. So right there and right here are the vents. There's one that's pulling air out. You're probably not going to feel a whole lot of air, but there's one that's pulling air out and then one that's bringing it in. So it's just a fresh air. If you want it on, if you have somebody that's got something that your mask got for and you want more air circling through here, you can turn them on. So then you have this option screen here. That inverter button is tied to the ignition. You should never have to push it. But if you wanted, for whatever reason, to shut the inverter off, it can be done in there. Other thing you have here is this accent light that'll just change the colors. Those are preset, and then you can go through here and make it brighter, dimmer, change the color. So.
I see Amy changing it to whatever color she feels for the day.
Did you just hear me say that?
Yeah.
I go, I feel blue today, guys.
Yeah, see? I already know you. I feel blue today.
That was like simultaneous on that.
Yeah.
So let's turn the generator off.
Love it.
And then we're going to start the chassis. Cut the hub out of here.
I literally just said that.
Same thing.
Stop it.
Hold on a second. Yeah, go ahead. Hold it up. You guess.
Me too. It's a journey up in here.
Don't stop.
Do we have music?
Yeah, you can hook up your.
Hook
You know,
your
you
phone.
always playing music on his phone for the kids. You can now hook it up to the Bluetooth.
So this is good. You're pushing the stop button, it's not turning off, right?
Right, it is.
Okay. When you pushed the start button a while ago, and we had all the lights on and back, it saw low voltage, and the generator started by itself.
Okay.
So when the generator starts to charge the batteries up, it won't let you turn it off unless you come to the switch out here and manually turn it off.
Okay.
So I'll turn it off out here, and it's going to run 90 minutes once it does that. So once it starts because of low voltage, it runs 90 minutes and it shuts off.
Okay. Charges itself.
What is this fancy thing here?
That's the stretcher.
I mean, I know it's for the stretcher, but it looks like it does more than.
It automatically. It's one of the.
Lifts it up.
Yeah, so when we have your, like the isolette, it'll pull it out, and then you'll lock it in place. You lift it up, you lock it in place, and then basically it'll just, without you having to
It pulls
lift
it in
and everything,
for you.
it'll pull it in for you.
So one thing you'll notice, so we're not just off sitting here in the dark. Can't have you fall asleep. So one thing that you'll notice is it's so much quieter without the generator running.
Yeah.
That's the biggest complaint that transport teams have, is that the generator's so loud. Hence, you don't have to use it unless it's a really hot day, cold, you'll never have to use it when it's
Right.
cold because there's so much heat in the back of this thing. It'll warm up. You can make it 99 degrees in here really quick. So it's really, generators really to run this AC unit when it's really hot outside. So if you're not comfortable, make sure to crank it. So now go to the climate control button. And the reason I want
Hey,
to
do it
point
from this
out-
side over here.
Yeah,
Because
that's
that way I
fine.
can record it.
So you'll see right now we're set on 75. Temperature in here is 72, so the heat is actually on right now. So lower that 75 down so it doesn't get toasty. So you see when she went to 70, it shut the heat off. Right now we're just using just regular air. Now the AC just came on because it went up. So it's a 2-degree differential. So if it's 70, if you have it set on 70 and it's 72, the fan's going to be blowing. If you put it on 69, the AC is going to come on. That's when it's in the auto mode. I tell folks typically leave it in the auto mode. Now the only disadvantage you have to not running it in auto is if you're running both systems, they can start to fight each other. And that's why I just want to make sure you understand that thermostat down there runs this 110
Okay.
system. So if you had it set on 65 and you had that set on, let's say, 70,
Gotcha.
what's going to happen is the heat's going to come on and it's going to try to start heating, and this is going to be cooling. So you're running two systems, and I wish there was a better way to do that, but they're two different brands and they don't communicate together. So you guys know it. You can go from
So
there.
what's your recommendation again? So I have this because it's kind of important.
Yeah. So
Just use one at a time.
No, you
Or
can
use
run them
both?
both at the same time. You just have to make sure
Same
you're
setting.
both going the same setting. So 70 and 70. This one here has cool, auto, and heat. What I would use on that thermostat is only cool or only heat,
Okay.
and not have it automatically switch.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play with it on days that it's that swing kind of going on, but what'll happen is they'll get flip-flopped from each other, and this will start heating and that'll be cooling, and then
So
they'll switch.
this one you have to manually put it in.
Correct. Yes, sir. Yeah.
But these two are talking to each other.
They are. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. These and the Horton panels are only running that AC
This
right there,
From the back.
and it only runs on the chassis drum.
Okay.
Okay. So that's probably what you're used to in your current
Yeah.
truck.
Right.
Now the AC system on this truck compared to that truck are two different beasts. So this one here should be cooling like on a say 100-degree ambient outside temperature. You should be getting low 40s, maybe top 30s blowing out of there. So it's going to be ice cold air. So any questions on that? Fan speeds on the bottom. You can manually control it if you want. When you manually control it, it takes it off of auto though. So if you go back to auto, and now crank the temperature down to like 60. Okay, you see how it starts, the fan does start speeding up on its own. So that, just to make sure we're on the same page because everybody gets confused, that one right there runs off of the chassis. This one runs off of that thermostat right there and only works on generator and shoreline. The only other thing that I will tell you is, and this kind of goes kind of further than you guys want to know, but if the front AC is not on, they're tied together.
Okay.
So if the front AC isn't on, it's going to cool, but it's not going to give you 100% of what you want. Most of the time, though, you'll never know because when you want AC back here and it's hot, they've got it blasting up there too.
Yeah.
So typically isn't a problem. Any questions on AC?
Just again, so if we're here parked
Yes, sir.
and engines are off and stuff,
Right.
driver comes out,
Pretty good.
hooks up the shoreline,
Yes, sir.
and then once the shoreline's done, he wants to make sure that it's cool in here.
Right.
They're going to come to that panel there,
They will.
and that panel they'll set the